Hello students, this is your third chapter of BRF, TYBCOM, the Sale of Goods Act 1930. Very first of all, we have to understand what is the meaning of sale. The contract of sale, here I have some examples with the explanation. Let's see the examples first. For example, Mr. A agreed to sell a car to B without any consideration. What is the meaning of consideration? Consideration is nothing but something in return. Whenever you do the contract, it means you are going to purchase something and someone is selling. Okay, such contract of the sale is valid because it is made without consideration. In this example, we use the word without consideration. For every contract, consideration is always important. Most of the times, it's in money. So, sale means all the requirements of the contract such as free consent का मतलब होता है without coercion, undue inflations and fraud, mistakes, anything. So we repeat the sentence. All the requirements of the valid contract, such as free consent, consideration, competency of the parties, lawful object, and consideration must be fulfilled. Okay. If any of the essential elements of the valid contract is absent, then the contract of the sale will not be valid. Valid, it means cancel. Okay. In the sale, very first of all, we must have to understand there must be two parties, buying, a buyer and seller, and some points must be lawful object, free consent, consideration. Consideration, it means something in return must be there. So this is the meaning of contract of sale. Now, second point, under this act, there must be a two parties. Just now I said there must be a two parties. It means there must be buyer, one buyer, at least one buyer, and one seller. Okay. Uh, just read the examples. For example, Mr. A and B were partners. After 1 year, firm was disclosed. Here are the two partners. We have two partners, Mr. A and Mr. B. After 1 year, their partnership is closed. On the disclosure, some goods were divided among all the partners. Such contribution of the goods among the partners was not as a sale. Okay, it means you can understand very simple way. There must be a two parties, one buyer and another one is seller. Just read now the examples is over. Explanation. Another essential elements of the contract of the sale is that there must be a two parties to the contract of the sale. I say, namely, seller and the buyer. In the contract of the sale, the ownership of the goods has to pass from one person to another. I hope this is very clear. The ownership of when we do any contract, whenever, just take a simple example. If you want to purchase a pen, what you are going to do, you just go to the shop and ask for the pen. Suppose it's a 10 rupees pen, you take the pen, shopkeeper gives you a pen, and as a buyer you pass rupees 10 to the wholesaler or to the seller. It means the possession of that pen before this contract is to the seller, and after doing all the things, the possession is or the ownership of this pen is transferred from one person to another. It means from seller to buyer. Hence, the seller and the buyer must be different person, because one person cannot be a both buyer and a seller. But there are certain expectations to this, where a person's goods are sold under any executions of the decree, he may purchase his own goods. Okay. Right now we understand from this slide is what is the meaning of sale. Sale means selling anything. It must be a good or it must be a service. Okay. But the contract of the sale must be valid. It means it includes free consent, consideration, lawful object, and at least two parties. That means a buyer and a seller. I hope this is clear. Now we go with the next one. What is the meaning of goods? Goods or the or anything, any services must be there for any contract. आप गुड्स के बिना प्रोडक्ट के बिना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं कर सकते. There must be some goods as a subject matter. Goods must be one which is defined as goods. In section 2 subsection 7 of the Sale of the Goods Act 1930, as per the definition given in the section 2 subsection 7 of this Sale of Goods Act, the goods means any kind of movable property, and it includes just like stock, shares, growing crops or grass, खेतीबाड़ी हम लोग जो बोलते हैं वो, the things attached to or forming a part of the land which can be served from the land. In simple words, goods means nothing but the product which is useful or which is a subject matter for the contract. Okay, it must be a goods or any services. Goods means goods have two types, like maybe it is tangible or it is intangible. Okay, for if it's tangible, it means it's movable, you can touch that product. Intangible, it means any services, doctor service, advocate service, teacher service, mobile Geo's service, this is intangible service. And this is the Geo's product that Reliance product that he is giving a Geo's service. Okay, I hope this is clear. The goods, meaning of the goods. Next one is transfer of the ownership. Just now I said transfer of the, when we purchase any pen from the seller or the from the shopkeeper, we go to the shop and ask for the 10 rupees pen. Before this contract, pen's owner is, who is the owner? Shopkeeper. After giving 10 rupees, now pen is in your hand, it means that you are the owner of that pen. Okay, it means the transfer of the ownership. It means, very in simple words, ownership transfer from seller to buyer after doing consideration. Okay, just read the explanation. In the contract of the sale, ownership over goods has to be transferred to the buyer by the seller, or there should be an agreement to the transfer of the ownership by the seller to the buyer. The property in the goods means all the ownership rights of the goods. In the contract of the sale, all the ownership rights of the goods must be transferred. I repeat the word, all the ownership rights of the goods, जो कि मैंने अभी कहा था पेन की ownership, must be transferred from the seller to owner buyer. However, the physical delivery of the goods is not required. Okay. For example, Mr. A agrees a new two-wheeler from the B as an agent from rupees for rupees 25,000, who is going to buy Mr. A to buy a new two-wheeler. A is going to buy a bike or two-wheeler from B as an agent for rupees 25,000. Mr. A pay the price and not the two-wheeler registration in his name, and the registration book was delivered to B to A. This is a valid contract of the sale because ownership of the two-wheeler has been transferred to A. It is nothing but it must be a transfer through the agent also. If you want to purchase a flat, if I want to sell the flat, I just ask to my broker, I want to sell this flat, and definitely after telling them, he will try to find out some buyers, and after that buyers can purchase my flat. The ownership transfer from me to the buyer. Okay, I hope this is also clear. Now, next one, for any sale of the goods, price. The price of the product, the price of the service compulsory hota hi hai. Okay, just read the examples, or just read for first of all read the explanation. Other than essential elements of the contract of the sale is that there must be some price of the goods. That means the goods must be sold for some price. According to section 2 subsection 10 of the Sale of Goods Act 1930, the term price means price hoti kya hai? What is the exact meaning of the price? The money consideration for the sale of the goods. Okay, money price must be a money. It's a consideration. Okay, thus the price is the consideration for the sale or for the contract of the sale, which should be in the terms of money if the ownership of the goods is transferred for any consideration other than the money. That will not be a sale but an exchange. However, the consideration can be paid partly in the money and partly in goods. I hope this is very simple. For example, Mr. A delivered to B 10 cows value at rupees 2000 per cow. I repeat the sentence. Mr. A delivered to B, okay, 10 cows for rupees 2000 per cow. It means 20,000. B delivered to A 20 bags of rice at rupees 750 per bag and paid the balance of rupees 5,000 in the cash in exchange of the cows. This is a valid contract because both the parties are agree for this consideration, little bit of balance in cash and little bit of the bag of the rice. So both parties if agree for this contract, it means this is a valid contract. Okay, now the last one is mercantile agent. Just now I give the example. If I just want to sell my flat, then I ask my broker for the same, and broker find out the buyer for me. By my flat key is with my broker, and broker have a full right to sell that flat. As you know, he is not the owner of that flat, but he is the agent, mercantile agent. The meaning of mercantile is nothing but it's a business. Okay, read this explanation. Rather than the buyer and the supplier negotiating between themselves, the third party agent can be used to coordinate the specified of the contract on behalf of these parties. The third party agent is called as a mercantile agent, and they come in the form of the broker, auctioneers, and others. Others, it means maybe it's broker and anything else. I hope this is very clear, students. In the next part, we do the types of goods. So, have a nice day. Thank you so much.